Okay, MegaMind. No, I did not see this in 3D. I saw this on a flight. It's the story of. It's actually the story of the main villain, MegaMind. MegaMind has. Well, his planet was being destroyed, so he got sent off into space. The exact same time, Metroman was sent out. So think of like Superman's origin, but like doubled. And of course, while MegaMind was about ready to crash land into a nice, beautiful Bruce Wayne manor sort of thing, Metroman's little flight pod knocked him out into a prison. So MegaMind was essentially raised in a prison, and he used his advanced intellect to try to, essentially, first he tried to help the people he was with, who of course were criminals. Then later, as he's going to school, he's at the same school as Metroman is. And he realizes that he'll never be the good guy, so he decides to become what? The bad guy. Now, Metroman's power set is almost identical to Superman's. You've got super speed, flight, super strength, and vulnerability, heat vision. They don't show him having frost breath. They go through some of the backstory of essentially, he always defeats MegaMind. MegaMind comes close, but never actually succeeds. And then all of a sudden, MegaMind does. He finds out that Metroman's weakness is copper, seals him inside an observatory, and then uses a death ray powered by the sun to kill him. And now he's taken over. But he feels something's missing, Without that construct of good versus evil, he's kind of lost. He uses his dehydration ray. I know it's weird. A lot of his inventions are kind of kooky. He's kind of like a slapstick version of Lex Luthor. And he copies a guy who works at the Metroman Museum. He begins a relationship with Tina Fey's character, who is the interpretive reporter. They kind of hit it off. And then all of a sudden MegaMind kind of transitions from being the villain to kind of, well, I kind of like this. This is kind of fun. His sidekick, David Cross, who's the piranha in the bodysuit, he's like, you're the bad guy. Good guys don't get the girl. So he's playing a fake life where he's trying to essentially gain happiness. He's trying to figure out what he can do as the villain. Then he realizes, well, a villain needs a hero. Takes Metroman's DNA and makes a little, essentially, bullet, and fires it into Hal. Hal is Tina Fey's such a cameraman who has had this huge crush on her. He now has these superpowers, and he's called Titan. He then tries to essentially woo Tina Fey's character, who's like, no. I never had a relationship with Metroman. I don't care that you've got powers, we're never going to have a relationship. Titan also notices that the Tina Fey character is out with Bernard, who's the guy who works at the museum, who's super brainy. Thoughtfully finds out later that MegaMind is also Bernard, which then leads to their first, giant battle. MegaMind's like, great, you defeated me, now take me to jail. And he's like, no. I'm taking you to the morgue. I'm going to kill you. MegaMind's like, no, that's not how we play the game. We have these huge climactic battles, you defeat me, and then I go to jail. No. I'm going to kill you. And then Titan then becomes the villain. So you have a Superman archetype in the beginning, and then at the end you have, I think he's Plutonian? That's the character from Mark Waid's Irredeemable. So you have a guy with the same power set who's now the villain. So now MegaMind and the reporter are now trying to find out what happened to Metroman. Is there any sort of, what's he got for a weakness? Because copper isn't it. And then they find out that he kind of faked his own death because he doesn't want to do the superhero thing anymore. Which then leads MegaMind to become the superhero and save the day. It's got a great soundtrack too. You've got, some like old school Michael Jackson, like Beat It, Bad. You've got lots of AC/DC. You've got Welcome to the Jungle from Guns N' Roses. This is actually some really good movie. It's really solid. You know, it works well as looking at some of the different superhero archetypes. You know, you got the guy who flies around, the reporter, you know, the the reporter is kind of, you know, like photographer who's got a crush and doesn't actually want to say anything. You've got a villain who's got a ton of little henchmen. You got pretty decent layers. You got pretty elaborate traps. So actually, it's a really solid movie. You know, if you're a fan of superhero genres and you're kind of tentative of some of the animated fare, this one's actually really watchable. Especially if you grew up in the 80s or 90s, so you actually hear some of this music used in a pretty different way. You know, I've never seen a villain after he's won essentially play Highway to Hell and then show up with like a laser light show. And that's MegaMind.